guys, and welcome back to another episode of Federico Talks Watches. Now, before we get started, I just wanted to mention something. In the next couple of videos, I'm going to be coming out with a little bit of an announcement. So you may want to hit that subscribe button and the notification, that's a little bell right next to subscribe. That way you don't miss the big reveal. Also, let's do a quick wristwatch check. Today I'm wearing the trusty Swatch System 51, and no guys, it's not a coincidence, it matches the polo perfectly, that's why I wore it. And actually, I did notice two things about this watch, one good thing and one bad thing. The first thing is, I totally forgot it had an 80-hour power reserve, because I had it off my wrist for about 3 days, because I was playing around with it 3 days ago, and I picked it up and it was still ticking, so that was quite a nice surprise. But the bad thing I noticed is here at my desk, I had it laying right behind me and it was running, and man, does this thing tick really loud. I mean, I was reading some articles earlier and all I could hear was tick, 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 and that kind of drove me nuts. So yeah, it's not it's not supposed to be the best watch in the world. It's only $150. I got it more for, the kind of cool factor and what it represents, completely automated. I love the color. So yeah, Swatch System 51 on the wrist today, really, really enjoying it. But that's not what this video is about. So what are we talking about today? Today we're talking about 5 watches that I think are grossly underappreciated. Now, you guys may not agree with me, but I'm going to tell you why I think they're underappreciated, and I'd like to know what you guys think are 5 underappreciated watches in the comment section below, and also let me know what you think of my picks. Now, I know, we may have a differing opinion, but let's keep the comment section clean, because these lists usually kind of bring out the trolls in full force. But, let's be civil and let's talk watches, fellas. Now, my first pick, and these are in no particular order, and probably my most controversial pick, is the 2016 Girard Perregaux Laureato. And boy, did this watch get crapped on by all the watch press, including my friend Christian at Theo and Harris, who I totally respect his opinion. However, I kind of really like the watch. I do. It's, a lot of people said it was unoriginal, it's a bit of an homage, but not quite. I think it's an amalgamation of the Nautilus, the AP, and also the Laureato was made previously as well. I think they updated the size, 42 mils is perfect. I love the tapisserie dial, which, yes, harkens back to AP's Royal Oak. I love the bezel, I love the shape. I think it's a really cool watch. And actually, nowadays, since they're not selling particularly well, they just went through a nice price reduction too. I think you can get that great high-end sports watch feel with an in-house movement, fantastic finishing, an interesting look, and it doesn't really blend in with all the, the APs and the Nautiluses. Now, you may prefer a Nautilus, you may prefer an AP, you may even prefer a Piaget Polo S, but this is obviously less than half the price, and pre-owned it's even less than that, just because it's not the hottest watch in the market. And I think you get a lot of bang for your buck. So the Girard Perregaux Laureato 42, especially in the blue dial, is definitely a watch I'd love to wear, and I think can be picked up for a pretty good value. Now, second is another brand, Girard Perregaux was more about the piece, but this brand definitely gets a lot of hate, and I'll mention why as well. But I'm going to mention the Maurice Lacroix Masterpiece Annual Calendar Flyback. What a mouthful. Now, Maurice Lacroix is a brand that honestly is not doing very well. Then again, nowadays, who is? But they're a brand that gets a lot of flack, and I give them a lot of flack too, because they're a brand that does something I hate, and that is they have their nice high-end watches, which are great. They're usually called the Masterpiece Collection. They do some of the best ETA modification out there, some of the coolest complications, and then they have their gold-plated quartz crap, which they charge, luxury prices for, and I have no problem with a quartz watch or even a non-luxury watch, but to charge $1,000 for a gold-plated Ronda quartz is nuts. So I just wish they'd pick. Now I understand they never will go fully high-end, but it's that split makes no sense to me. But anyway, this watch, the Maurice Lacroix Masterpiece Annual Calendar Flyback, is just what it sounds like. It's an annual calendar with a flyback chronograph on a 49 joule modified ETA movement. Now, this watch might not be the most handsome. I actually quite like the big date and stuff, but you can pick it up if you do well for around $2,000 pre-owned. Now, yes, they're not all over eBay for $2,000, but you can definitely pick it up for about $2,000 if you do some digging. Where else are you going to get an annual calendar flyback, let alone just an annual calendar or just a flyback on a highly modified ETA movement? And actually, guys, little secret, Richard Mille uses one of these exact movements in one of their watches, and they charge close to $100,000. So yeah, Maurice Lacroix, annual calendar flyback, around $2,000. Do I need to say anything else? I don't think so. Just go look it up. Now, third is something that almost didn't make the list because they're on the cusp of no longer being underappreciated and actually getting the press and the kudos they deserve. And that is the Zenith El Primero. I'm just going to pick the standard, tricolor El Primero. Now, this is one of the best chronograph movements out there. It's high beat. It's decorated pretty decently. It's column wheel. I mean, it's a great movement. It was used in Rolexes. And actually, when a lot of high-end watchmakers didn't want to use a Valjoux or an ETA with a D&D module, they used an El Primero. So it's a great frickin' movement. And they didn't get a lot of love. But I feel like recently, especially in the past year, the Dinky Limited Edition and their new releases, they've been getting a little love. However, I still don't see enough collectors on the forum proudly wearing an El Primero. Still see a ton of subs, and that'll always be the case, and that's fine. Ton of Panerais, I'm guilty of that. Ton of Breitling, but still, more people should be wearing an El Primero, and that is why it makes this list, even though they are definitely on the up and up. Now, fourth is a watch I love. And actually, I used to work for the company, and right around this watch was launched. And that is the Piaget Altiplano 900P. Now, yes, this is an expensive dress watch. It only comes in a noble metal, white gold, yellow gold, and rose gold. But the 900P movement is amazing. It's a manual wind, fully skeletonized movement that at the time, I think the record just got broken, was the thinnest mechanical movement in the world. Jaeger actually beat that record, but only in a very limited edition skeleton piece, one of 50, that was triple the price. This Piaget's current production, and actually the main plate of this movement, where all the movement parts are put on top of, is incorporated into the caseback. So it's not a see-through caseback, but it can't be because the caseback is actually part of the movement, which is super cool. Now, this isn't the first time it's been done. AP's done that in the past, I believe in the 70s and 80s, but nowadays it's the only watch I know of that does that. And actually, the straps in this watch were too thick originally. The straps were thicker than the watch. The watch is only 3.65 millimeters thick, for Christ's sake. Manual winding, very contemporary with that dial layout. It's kind of got a little bit of an Art Deco look, but it's definitely modern. I think for the price, and especially at the fact that you can probably do better than full retail, absolutely, you get a very unique wristwatch with a ton of pedigree, with an interesting look, in a noble metal, by an underappreciated brand like Piaget, because I think the whole brand is underappreciated, but particularly the Altiplano 900P. I mean, honestly, guys, I'd take this over a Calatrava any day, and I know I'm going to get flamed for that, but Patek, guys, I love Patek Philippe, I really do. The Calatrava is not my favorite line, it's a little boring, but before you start spewing, oh, you're going to take a bath on the Piaget and the Calatrava, you'll always make your money back. I don't buy watches to make my money back. I don't buy watches as an investment. I buy watches to enjoy them. And by that criteria, the 900P deserves to be in a ton more wrists than it's on right now. And lastly, and maybe something else that's a little controversial because I'm breaking my rules, is Lange. Which Lange? Any Lange. All Langes. If I had to pick a Lange, probably the Lange one. But yeah, these guys definitely get kudos, and they're definitely not underappreciated by watch lovers, but people aren't appreciating them with their wallets. What do I mean? Not a lot of people wear Lange. Now, I know they're a smaller brand, they're an expensive brand, they only make 4,000 watches a year, but proportionately to people wearing APs, Vacherons, Patek, you'd think you'd see more Langes out there, especially the Lange 1, the icon. The movements are made out of German silver. Every watch is assembled twice. Actually, you know what, guys? I'm not even going to bore you with it. Take a look at my Lange video, a link right up here, and why I think they're probably one of the best luxury watches, if not the best luxury watchmaker out there today. The styling might not be for everyone, but they definitely deserve more wrist time than they're getting from the average collector. Anyway, guys, what do you think? What are your underappreciated watches or brands? Do you disagree with my picks? I'm sure a lot of you guys do, but I'd like to know why. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching another episode of Federico Talks Watches. Please don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed it, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Thank you, and take care.